Hello ladies and gentlemen of YouTube, Death Knight Paranoid coming at you in another video. Now this is a gem tier list that is my opinion on what the best and worst 5-star gems are in the game. So we're going to start with the S tiers. Blood-Soaked Jade is definitely an S tier because it increases your damage based on how much life you have. The lower life you have, the less it increases your damage, but it's still going to increase your damage no matter what. It's not going to like deplete it to 0%, but as you get to lower life, you'll have a damage reduction as well applied to you. Like players will do less damage to you and monsters will do less damage to you. Bottled Hope is a good gem. Whenever you grant yourself a buff, it's going to give you a damage boost, and then it's going to give you a movement speed boost. Also, as it gets to higher ranks, it's going to reduce your skill cooldowns. I think that's going to be... It's borderline A and S for me, but I'm going to have to give it an S, but it's going to rank below Blood-Soaked Jade. Roiling Consequence. Roiling Consequence is a very good gem. It'll increase your critical hit chance or increase your critical hit chance for each burning enemy, increase your critical hit damage while also burning enemies too. Roiling Consequence is definitely an S, and it's above Bottled Hope. Floe does almost the same thing as Roiling Consequence, except it applies a bleed instead of a burn. So Floe, I'm going to have to rate Floe higher though. Leviathan Tomb is a really, really good gem. It works the best with dot builds. It doesn't have to be strictly dots. It can be, it's viable in any build. It'll increase your damage all around, and I'm going to have to rate that above Blood-Soaked Jade. Now, on to the A tiers. Let's start with Coil. Coil is a good one. It relies on you being in either attack stance or defensive stance. While you're in attack stance, it'll increase your damage and kind of apply like a dot type thing, but it's not really classified as a dot. It's more of like anything, like just a minor damage thing. And then in defensive stance, it does the same thing as attack stance, but instead of increasing your damage, it decreases the damage you take while you're in defensive stance. I'm gonna have to give that an A. Colossus Engine, another good 5-star. Now, Colossus Engine will grant you CC immunity and skill damage increase whenever you do a buff on yourself. It's kind of like Bottled Hope, but instead of all damage, it's just skill damage, and then it also grants you knockback immunity. I'm gonna have to give that an A. I think it's below Coil because Coil is a lot better in my opinion than Colossus Engine. Faded Trail, I'm gonna have to give that an A, and I'm gonna have to... It's going to be in between Coil and Colossus Engine for now. Faded Trail is good. It'll proc whenever you damage someone. It'll possibly root them. If it's a monster, it's going to guarantee root them unless it's a boss. Also, it'll break their armor, increasing your damage to them. And also damaging players or monsters based on your life. Like a certain percentage of your life. Wulfheort has kind of been overshadowed by Faded Trail. Faded Trail is a lot better, but I still think Wulfheort is an A tier gem. Wulfheort does almost the same as Faded Trail, but it's a little bit different. Instead of life, it goes based off of damage, and then it doesn't do anything like break armor or anything like that. It'll proc every 0.3 seconds and deal like a certain percentage of your damage during that time. And then it'll also boost your attack speed. I'm going to have to give it a low A. Void Spark is good. It will increase your attack speed at higher ranks and strike lightning every second based on how much damage. Like the rank I have, it's like 30 or 40% of my damage every second, and then it can only strike up to 6 enemies. I'm gonna have to rate that. It's in between A and B, but I'm gonna have to give it a low A. Seeping Bile, on the other hand, Seeping Bile is only good for dot builds. It used to be a really good gem, and it only has a 4% chance to proc. It's going to give a dot based on how much of your damage is, certain percentage of your damage. I'm going to have to give it a B. Echoing Shade is another one that used to be good. It's situational. It can increase your damage. It's alright, but it gives you clones and they utilize your primary attack. I'm gonna have to give it a C. Maw of the Deep. I think Maw of the Deep is better than Echoing Shade. It's situational. It's alright in PvP. It'll make a whirlpool that pulls in enemies and shoot like a sea monster out of the whirlpool and break their armor and do damage. So it's alright. Spiteful Blood, another situational gem. It pretty much is only good in PvP. It'll grant you a shield whenever you are below 50% life. But the shield is based on how much damage you have, like the raw damage stat that you have. The shield is only going to give you a certain percentage of your damage, and it'll make you immune to primary attacks and also boost your damage a little bit. Gloom Cask is pretty good. I'm going to rate it a B though, because Gloom Cask is good for auto attack builds. It'll increase your primary attack damage and shoot out gloom blades that will also proc faster if you have high primary attack speed. Blessing of the Worthy is alright. It's only situational for PvP. I'm gonna have to rate it below Spiteful Blood though. Blessing of the Worthy will have a 20% chance to proc and reduce the damage that you take, and then when it procs, it'll also release a burst of light that damages, but it's Blessing of the Worthy is only good for PvP. Starfire Shard. Once a good gem, now overshadowed by other ones. It has, whenever you deal damage, you have a chance, or it's 100% chance to spawn a meteor that'll impact and burn the ground, apply a dot, and then people that are standing in the ground will continue taking more damage. And also, it's a pretty big burst gem. It's like 300 and something percent of your base damage. I'll have to rate it a low B because it's alright in PvP. It has a chance to do bursting potential in PvP, but I wouldn't really use it in PvE though. Golden Firmament. Golden Firmament is alright. I would have to rate it above Starfire Shard. Golden Firmament reads that you shoot off wind blades whenever you're in combat that deal damage, and an enemy that gets hit by multiple wind blades will take reduced damage from each subsequent hit. And also, Golden Firmament will raise your invasion rating, not by very much, but it's still something that it raises your invasion rating. It would be it's like in between B and C, but I'm gonna have to rate it a B because I used to use it for quite a while. Frozen Heart, I'm gonna have to rate a C. I'm not really a big fan of Frozen Heart, but the shield is nice that you get from it, and then it also, whenever you're attacked, you have a chance to freeze or chill the enemy, whichever one it is. So I'm gonna have to rate it a low C. Stormvault. Stormvault, I used to use quite a bit. I'm gonna have to rate it below Spiteful Blood though. Stormvault will follow enemies and it brews like a storm that deals damage, and it counts as lightning damage. I'm pretty sure it counts as lightning damage, but it's situational for like PvP because it will follow the people and do damage. So Stormvault is all right. And then the rest of these can stay in D tier, but I'm gonna have to do some slight adjustments. Okay, so Hilt of Many Realms is definitely going to be a high D tier. Whenever you use skills in combat, you're going to release swords, rain of swords on enemies that'll do damage over time, but it's not a dot, it's just like a ground type status thing. Hellfire Fragment, I'm going to have to rate second D because it works a lot like Hilt of Many Realms, but it doesn't have as many procs, but it has a more burst window, but it's not really that great. Concentrated Will, I'm going to have to rate third. Concentrated Will, whenever you use a dash, it'll spawn an angel, and then whenever, after so long, wherever you end up after the dash, there will be like a holy light thing that follows you, and whoever's in the path of the holy light thing takes damage. And I'm pretty sure damage boosts you too at higher ranks, but I can't remember correctly. Howler's Call, definitely not the best gem. It goes based off a primary attack, I'm pretty sure, and will release like wolves or something in a path, but it's very easily dodgeable unless you have CC. Phoenix Ashes is going to stay. Phoenix Ashes used to be a really good gem. It grants you a death immunity, but it's not as good as it used to. Then I'm going to have to rate Chip of Stone Flesh second to last. Chip of Stone Flesh is CC based. Only good for CC. Whenever you apply CC, it'll do a curse on them. And after so long, the curse explodes, dealing damage based on how much you dealt to them in that time span. And then exploding based on a certain amount of damage. It's not really that good. And then Zwenson's, they have buffed it, but it's still not good. It's not even a situational, or I would say it's like F. Zwenson's is not good at all. Yeah, whenever you defeat an enemy, it has a certain percent chance to spawn a beast and deal damage based on your overall stat damage. And then whenever it gets higher ranks, it has a chance to spawn an additional beast. But Zwenson's is not really that great. So yeah, this is my tier list of the 5-star gems in Diablo Immortal, and I hope you guys like this video. DKP out.